and family dining experience. Open for lunch Tuesday through Friday from 11 a.m. with all new $3.95 lunch specials, including our world-famous meatball and sausage sandwiches. Or indulge in one of our Frank the Godfather special sandwiches today. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday open from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. Come and experience true Italian perfection. Bocce's Italian Bistro. Visit the website bocceitalianbistro.com. That's BACIITALIANBISTRO.com. Located at 8830 East Germain Road in Mesa. You deserve the best. All right, guys, and you're listening to KQCK radio station. This is Joe here. Early, I would say late morning. Is it early afternoon yet, Tom?
If you're on the East Coast, it's early afternoon.
Well, there you go. And remember, guys, out at Bocce Restaurant, mention you heard it on KQCK, 15% off your total bill. That's a great deal there, so make sure when you go check it out, you do that. Well, it's that time you've been waiting for. CAClive, Tom D. Camillo here in studio with his guest. Welcome, Tom.
Joe, it's good to be back every Thursday morning on CAClive. An exciting time at Central Arizona College, and I might head over to that Italian restaurant this weekend because that meatball and sausage sandwich sounds pretty good.
It is very, very good.
So, Central Arizona College, located throughout Pinal County, 10 locations throughout the county. CAC on Friday night. Joe, I didn't see you out there.
I couldn't go.
Oh, we had a.
You know why? I didn't know it was homecoming, and my son's in the marching band, and my daughter plays the flute, so they were both involved in the homecoming festivities until late.
Oh, well, you missed a terrific evening, but your kids are most important. We had well over 400 people show up for the event. Everybody had a fantastic time. It's amazing to see the new building at night. It lights up the whole area. So if you're interested, stop by the Superstition Mountain campus, Central Arizona College. It's located just north of the 60 on Idaho Road, and it's just a fantastic building. If you haven't seen it, check it out. A wonderful library, great science rooms, and just a whole lot of opportunity for the people in Central Arizona, in Apache Junction and in the community. CAC it continues to grow. October 16th, right here in the Santan Valley. Joe, I know you're going to be there. I think you're going to be there if there's not a show for you. It's 5 o'clock on October 16th. We are having the groundbreaking of the Santan campus. We're hoping all the Santan chambers that are in the area and the think tanks and all those businesses come out and support CAC and take a look at the groundbreaking. Actually, the groundbreaking is underway already. They're already doing construction there, but we're having our official groundbreaking on October 16th, and especially if you're in business, a business person or an educator in the community and want to attend, just get a hold of Joe here at the station. He'll give out the number in a few minutes, and we'd encourage you to come. Just a couple of announcements before we get started. We have a tremendous show today that's going to have a far-reaching, in terms of geography, Joe. We have Garrett Hert, and he's the chair of the Engineering Technology program at Central Arizona College, and Garrett's going to join us here in a minute. But the program draws students from large parts of the country where typically community colleges are more regional, county-wise, or they draw from just maybe an extended region. But this particular program tends to draw from a lot of areas of the country, and he's going to talk about that. And then also, we want to send out a congratulations to Dr. Doris Helmich. She has been selected as the new president of Central Arizona College. She served in the interim for the last year, and the governing board on Monday in a special governing board meeting, after several interviews and going through a search process that actually began last November, and it takes a long time to do those processes. Doris Helmich has been named as the new CAC president, so we wish her congratulations and good luck, and a lot of the good stuff that she's done this year for the college will continue. She's got a full plate with especially 2 new campuses opening up. But without delaying any more, we have Garrett Hert joining us, and if you're watching, I know you have Garrett. I think you have friends in Nebraska. Did you say that are watching?
Family and friends.
Family and friend watching in Nebraska. Now let's talk a little bit about this engineering technology program. When you hear engineering, and some people tend to think, okay, well, that's sort of the engineering, you go to MIT or something like that. This is a little bit different. This is more of a hands-on program, involves heavy equipment, mechanics, those kind of things. Tell the audience what actually happens in this program at CAC.
Well, when you hear engineering, it's in our division. You got to go back a little bit of history. When that division was first developed, they had a pre-engineering program where a student could take pre-engineering classes and then transfer on to the university.
You know what? I don't want to interrupt. I'm not getting a level on you because you're not talking towards that orange dot there. I'm sorry.
There you go.
I know you get a lot to say, and I didn't want you to.
There we go.
That's
there you
great.
go.
Okay, that's.
But we've kept the engineering name. There's been talks about just changing it to the technology division, but kind of took a vote with the faculty, and they wanted to keep that engineering title. To speak more about the division, there's several programs within it. We have heavy equipment operator, diesel and heavy equipment repair, welding, animal sciences, ag business, drafting. We just we're in the second year of a grant for alternative energies. So we have a solar installation class and a biofuels production class, or programs.
When you have these different, it really is sort of this myriad of programs that are inside your division. Let's talk about some of them. Heavy equipment. Do you actually have heavy equipment on the campus?
Yeah, we have approximately 30 pieces of heavy equipment that you would typically see on a job site. We have several motor graders, front end loaders, backhoes, excavators, dump trucks, water trucks. We have some boring. We have one boring machine, a horizontal boring machine. Let's see what else. That just about covers it.
So it's funny because when you come up to the CAC campus, I know the first time I came when I started working there, you have this sort of land area, and you see that equipment working out there. And at the time, the growth in the county was tremendous. It looked like houses were going to start being built next to the campus, and then nothing was built. And you kept seeing them out there every day. And then you kind of quickly realized these are the students that are actually getting practical experience operating this equipment.
Absolutely, it's. I'd say that it's about 75% hands-on, 25% lecture or book work. And really, a person can't learn how to operate a backhoe by sitting in the classroom. They have to be in the seat of the backhoe operating it. And the more experience that they get, the more seat time that they get, the more employable they are when they graduate.
So when you talk about the 25% in the classroom, are they taking general ed classes, or is there a component for your program that they have to at least learn some of it in the classroom?
No, there's a component in the program where there's seat time, there's classroom time. Mostly goes over safety, in theory of how a machine actually works. To know the like with a backhoe, for an example. There's certain points of the backhoe that where you get more leverage to dig in something that's harder to dig in. So you got to know what those leverage points are. There's a lot of math involved. You wouldn't think about it, but there is. There's a class that they take that's called it used to be called construction and mining equipment, where you learned how to, and we just changed it, and I can't remember what we changed the name to, but it has to do with how a job is bid. How a company bids a job. So if you have 6 million cubic yards of dirt to move, what are you going to use to move it, and how much is it going to cost to move it? So the operator, the guy who's in the seat operating, he doesn't have a part in making the bid process. He has a part in operating that piece of equipment to its fullest potential, so that they can meet bid or come under bid. So a job makes money.
It's funny because people probably don't think about that. You just don't drive a backhoe out there and start digging.
No.
What do you teach the students? I mean, obviously you have to look at the job and what the needs are. Obviously, there's probably things underground that you may not realize. You have to get maps or schematics or something to figure out, deal with the county or your local municipality. How do you teach all that, and what are some of the things that you teach the students to look for?
One of the biggest things we teach is safety, and not just personal safety, but equipment safety. And like you said, if you're digging a trench across barren land and you hit a gas line,
that can be problematic.
and that's happened. I mean, you got to know where you're digging and how far you're digging down. There's organizations in place. One named Blue Stakes. You call Blue Stakes out, and they locate your utilities, and they tell you that it's 6 foot down in this general area or in this area, and you have to stay away from that area. Or if you are going to dig in that area, you can't go more than 6 feet.
What happens, and obviously this is interesting to know because you figure that the students that are coming, probably a lot of them may be teenagers now going on to college, or some people coming back maybe and try to get into a career, but they probably never think about it. They look at these, there's probably a certain image that they look at these things as big toys at first. Where as a professor, this is a tool, and it can be a dangerous tool if you're not careful.
Oh, absolutely. I would say that the majority of the younger students coming in right out of high school, it is a big toy to them. It's I don't want to say breathtaking, but it's something that looks difficult and challenging to them, and it does take time to understand how that piece of equipment works and to be able to operate it safely.
Does every piece of equipment, and this may seem like an obvious answer, but when you look at it, does every piece of equipment operate differently, and you have to train everybody on each equipment?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, there's 4 segments to the operator program: operator 1, 2, 3, and 4. So operator 1, everybody gets to operate everything, and in that they learn how to do a walk around, how to check the oil, how to check for proper tire inflation, things of that nature. And then they move on to understand how to start it, how to put it in reverse, how to put it in forward, change the gears, operate the controls to make the hydraulics work. They're not learning how to operate the machine to dig yet. They're just learning how to operate the machine. And then when they later on in the program, a student might say, I really don't like operating the backhoe. I'd rather operate the motor grader, and he's going to spend most of his time operating a motor grader. So towards the end of the program, they start to pick what pieces of equipment they want to specialize in.
When you're teaching them about the equipment and just even starting it up, is it like starting a car with the technology today, or is it something totally different?
It is. In fact, in my engines class today, I lectured on proper startup and shutdown of a diesel engine with a turbocharger. So if you don't do it properly over a given time, that engine's going to fail on you prematurely. And if an operator doesn't know how to do proper engine startup and shut down, he's going to cost his employer money.
This type of equipment, and this is an obvious question, expensive, I'm assuming.
Very.
What's the price range for? Give us an idea of some of the equipment we have that it would cost a contractor. How much would it cost them to purchase it, and then go into obviously how important it is to make sure that the students understand that they can't go wreck a $500,000 piece of equipment.
Equipment can cost anywhere from $30,000 to $1 million. Just
wow.
Depends on what you're doing. A shovel, a front shovel, or a large excavator to mine can cost anywhere up to $1 million to $2 million for one piece of equipment.
Wow.
Yeah.
We
bought a backhoe last fall with some capital money. We were able to get it through Empire Machinery in Eloy. They have a yard where they keep repoed equipment. They fix it up and then turn around and sell it. And we picked up a backhoe, fairly new. I think it's 5 or 6 years old. And I think we got it for like $35,000. Brand new, that machine is well into the $100,000 range, or close to the $100,000 range.
So the importance of it's not just teaching the students how to operate, but also to understand that they need to be responsible
Absolutely.
For this equipment, because their jobs depend on it. You wreck machine, you're probably not going to be working there too long.
Absolutely. I've worked for companies in the past before I became an instructor at the college. A young guy messes up and he damages something, it's expected. But if he does it again, you're going to go down the road and find another job.
We're on CAClive here on KQCK in the Santan Valley. We're visiting with Garrett Hert. He's the chair of the Engineering Technology Program. It has a variety of programs that that students can participate in. We've been talking about the heavy equipment operator program and the different the different options there. But one of the programs is diesel mechanics. Is that what the program is? It's a diesel engine repair. Is that what
diesel and heavy equipment technology, and it's a repair program. Back in 1971, 72, they started the heavy equipment operator program, and they had an automotive program. They didn't have a diesel. They didn't have a diesel and heavy equipment, but as things broke down, repairs were needed. They decided, why don't we start a heavy equipment, diesel and heavy equipment repair program? So in 1973, I believe it was 72 or 73, that was the start of the repair program.
So this heavy equipment program has been around almost since the inception of the college.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, the first program in the division, I believe, was welding and automotive, and then heavy equipment operator, and then the diesel.
In terms of the diesel program, and what do the students actually do? Do you have set engines that are or parts that you let the students kind of tinker around with, or do you actually work on, well, obviously they repair some of them, but how do they learn? Obviously, a new student coming in, you're not going to put on an engine that's working and have them rip it apart.
No, first step in the program is learning the theory of operation, how stuff works, how an engine works, how a powertrain system works, how hydraulics work, how electricity works. And they spend the first semester mostly in the classroom, the boring part, where you got to sit there and listen to me talk about how an engine works and all the intricate parts of the engine and how everything works together. And then in their second semester, they take an intermediate class where they tear an engine down, and then they put it back together they tear it down and put it back together according to the manufacturer's specifications in the service manual. So they're learning how to use the literature that the manufacturer provides to do a repair or an R&R, which is remove and replace.
Most people get directions. It could be stuff at your house, could be cars, and they just start tearing into it without ever reading through the stuff.
Right.
And it's probably, in your case, teaching the students is that they need to be very patient and follow the directions, and there's a reason these manuals are there, they're guidelines for them. Is that a challenge with young people that you got to say, hey, slow down, follow through, this is why we have this?
Not the majority of them. We do have our students that like to tear it down fast and try and put it together fast, be the fastest one. And it's not so much patience, it's paying attention to detail. Because if you forget to put the one little pin in that holds in the whatever, you forget to put that in and you put it in backwards, that engine's going to fail. So now you got to take it out and do it again. So we try and teach them that pay attention to detail, to follow the instructions, and if you have a question, ask. If you don't understand what's going on, then you need to ask.
You're listening to CAClive, and Joe, why don't you give out the number, and if people are listening, especially if they have if they're interested in the program, if they have kids, that are interested in the program, they can call the station, ask some questions, and go ahead and get out the number.
You can go ahead and dial in 480-745-1033, and I'll certainly take your questions, or you can go live on the air if you want and ask them yourself. Just be nice because we don't have a delay.
We're visiting with Garrett Hert. He's the chair of the Engineering Technology Program at Central Arizona College. And let's shift it a little bit to welding. And that was one of the core programs that started when the college started over 40 years ago. What does a student learn in welding? Is it just I'm going to come if I wanted to learn how to weld, or is it a degree program or certificate program, or a little both?
It's a certificate program. That's the core of the welding program. But we tend to get a lot of just special interest. A guy goes to Home Depot and buys a small wire feed welder, but he doesn't know how to use it. He can come and take a 3-credit class and in one semester learn how to use his welder at home. We offer a couple classes. They're fabricating and design classes. So if you want to build a trailer, pull behind your truck, if you buy the materials, you can come to the to college, sign up for that class, and build yourself a trailer. But the majority of the students are there seeking a certificate. And we also require that our mechanics, our technicians, mechanic technicians, they take a welding class. And sometimes we have them take two. Because a good mechanic, a good technician who works for a company who, let's say, kid goes to work for Empire, the Caterpillar dealer. He's given first he's going to go to work in the shop, but then later he's going to be given a truck. And he's going to go out and work on a piece of equipment out in the field. And if there's something that's broke or cracked, he needs to be able to weld it. So they're cross-trained in different areas. So the welding program not only has its own certificate, it also supports the diesel technology program and the operator program.
I think we have a phone call from the audience.
Tom, you have Alexis from Tempe on the line. Would like to say something to Garrett here.
Okay. Alexis, welcome to the program.
Hi. I was just wondering, being a female, what are female allowed in the diesel repair part of the program, and how would that work?
Absolutely. In fact, we have two females in the program right now. One of them's fixing to graduate in December, and the other one's going to graduate in May. And the one that's graduating in December, Patty Purdue, she's interviewed with Southern Pacific Railroad.
Wow.
She's got another interview lined up here pretty soon. And more than likely, she'll have a job before she graduates. Before she even graduates from the program, she'll probably be employed.
Alexis, is this a program you might be interested in?
I'm sorry, what?
Is this a program you might be interested in at CAC?
The diesel engine repair.
Okay. If Alexis wants to get more information, should she come talk to someone, or you want to give her the information so she can contact you?
You can give me a call in my office. Do you have something to write with?
Go ahead, Go ahead, give it out, and then if Alexis we'll get her the number.
My office number is 520-494-5310.
That's 520-494-5310, Alexis. So if you have questions, you can give Garrett a call. Garrett a call later on today, and he can set you up with the program at Central Arizona College. Now, these classes are they taught throughout the district, mostly at the Signal Peak campus, or is it different at different locations?
Only at the Signal Peak campus.
Thank you, Alexis, for calling in.
Only at the Signal Peak campus at this time.
Okay. And the Signal Peak campus, if you're interested, is located just a little bit east of Casa Grande off I-10. So if you're coming from up in the valley, it's not too far of a commute. Where do your students come from? Do they tend to come from different areas of the country? We talked about that. I know I've met students for years that come from California sometimes, or Wyoming.
We've had students from, let's say, California, Utah, Mexico. A few years ago, we had a couple of students come from Massachusetts. The other day, we got a phone call from a gentleman in Norway.
Really?
Yeah. Now we're just trying to figure out how to call him back. He left us a number, but we can't dial out to Norway. So I'm going to have to find out where we can dial out of country.
All right. If you're listening from Norway and you know the gentleman, call the studio and we'll help you out. Now, recently, some of the programs, I guess, are getting accredited, and it's something that you guys initiated on your own?
We are accredited now. Last year, James Bush and Lewis Teal decided to get their heavy equipment operator program accredited. And for the last 10 or 12 years, we've been teaching to the standards of the accreditation through the NCCER, which is the National Center for Construction and Education and Research. They set the standards. We teach to the standards. They verify that we teach to them, and then they give us the approval of using their materials.
Are there many programs like this in the country at colleges? What we're doing at CAC?
I only know of a handful that do heavy equipment operating.
Are they mostly community colleges?
Yes, yeah, and there's a lot of private. There's private industry out there teaching it as well.
Looks like we got a couple of phone calls. I hear the phones ringing off the hook, Joe.
All right, Ken from Augusta, Maine, 44-year-old truck driver. He drives cross country. Says, I would like to come down and be in the diesel mechanic program. And Jim from Salt Lake says, sounds great. Could you please give me the number one more time? I have a pen now. I'll be calling. Okay, but please call, like after the show, because that'd be a better time. Right?
Go ahead. Yeah, give them out your contact information again.
520-494-5310. And my email is Garrett, Garrett, Hert, Hurt, at centralaz.edu.
We're going to take a short break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk more with Garrett Hert about the engineering technology program and some of the agricultural aspects of the program. You're listening to CAClive on KQCK in the Santan Valley.
Are you experiencing computer problems? Is your computer running slow, bogged down with viruses and spyware? You need a reliable and knowledgeable, trustworthy computer service company. Contact Computers, Networks, and More, located in Santan Valley. Get your computer or laptop running in top condition by a certified technician with 20-plus years experience and beta tester from Microsoft. Computers, Networks, and More provides repairs and solutions to any computer-related issue, whether it's software, installation, troubleshooting, updates, or tune-ups. You can trust Computers, Networks, and More. Contact Jeff Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. to schedule an appointment. We can have you up and running quickly, usually within 48 hours. Located in Santan Valley, Computers, Networks, and More. We're here for you. Contact Jeff at 480-729-8899. That's 480-729-8899. Our family pets are such a big part of our lives. That's why Kelly's Critter Clips of Queen Creek and Sun Lakes has been providing pet grooming services for over 10 years. Your dog's comfort is very important to us, so we take the time to treat your pet with care, love, and professional attention it deserves. We welcome any size and breed and feature shampoo and conditioning, styling, flea and tick dips, ear cleaning, nail trimming, and so many other services that will leave your pet looking good and smelling good and feeling great, all at an affordable price. Located in Queen Creek and Sun Lakes, call now for an appointment, 480-655-5066. Kelly's Critter Clips. When you visit Hill Family Dentistry in Santan Valley, dentist Dr. Tim Hill provides each patient with personalized, gentle care that you deserve. Our entire team is dedicated to providing you and your family with services that will make you smile. With a full range of general, cosmetic, and specialty dentistry services that will keep you and your family smiling. Our commitment to our community is to provide outstanding oral health. Hill Family Dentistry is located on 36359 Gansell Road in Santan Valley, diagonally across from Banner Ironwood Hospital. Evening and weekend appointments available. We accept most insurances and have in-office policies available for non-insured. Contact us today at 480-588-8127. Hill Family Dentistry.
Are you planning on starting a new business in this economy? As a new business, you know you'll need to watch every single dollar. Before you make any decisions on phone service, call Zentris Communications at 1-877-ZENTRIS. That's 1-877-936-8727.
Santan Motorsports, located in Queen Creek, specializes in off-road ATVs, dirt bikes, UTVs, side-by-sides, street bikes, and provides performance work. Santan Motorsports is your local dealership for off-road parts and accessories. They provide and pride themselves on excellent customer service and a staff that understands all aspects of the off-road business. Come in and browse our dealership and find those parts and accessories you've been looking for. Check our website, santanmotorsports.com, for monthly specials as well as used equipment. Santan Motorsports, your one-stop shop for sales, service, and knowledgeable staff. Located in Queen Creek on Power Road and Santan Boulevard, or call 480-988-0580. Santan Motorsports, we're here for you.
We are live back in the Santan Valley in the KQCK studios. Tom D. Camillo, Joe Carrero, and joining us today, Garrett Hert, the Engineering Technology Program Chair. And before we went to break, we had a young lady call named Alexis who was interested in one of the programs. I think it was the diesel engine repair, I think, right? Is that what she was interested in? But off the air, one of the things Garrett said, and I want you to explain it, but there is a lot of opportunity for women in this program to get some scholarship money or to get some help. Explain what that is.
I don't know.
I think we lost. Hold on a second. I think we lost Garrett when we switched over. All right, try it now, Garrett.
Are you there?
No, hold on. How about now?
Hello.
There we go. That's great.
Okay. I don't know everything about it. I was informed by Mr. Al Chu. He came to me and asked me if I had any females in my program, and I said yes. And he said send them my way, and I can get them some scholarship money. And I don't know all the details about it, but I know that both of the gals that are in my program, we got $500 a piece for.
Wow, that's terrific. And as you call Garrett, if you're interested in the programs, and call CAC, and especially if you're female, and there's obviously a lot of different sort of scholarship and financial aid, different programs that the students can go through. It's being a typical CAC student doesn't, it's so there's a lot of those programs which I know you guys will direct them to. But if you're a female and you're interested in this field, there is some scholarship money available.
Can I interrupt?
Sure.
I have a success story on a female.
Oh, that would be terrific.
Graduated 3 or 4 years ago, I think 4. Her name's Coco Fierce, and she graduated in the top of the class and got a job in Texas working at a trucking company. And the last I heard, she bought 20 acres and a house and is doing really well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is an outstanding. We love to hear those stories, and we've been getting a lot of those over the last few weeks. Do the students get a chance to intern or go out in the field with these programs?
Yes, they do. We try and connect our students with industry, and whether it being a dealership, a company that sells and repairs heavy equipment, or with a construction company that builds roads and bridges and does civil work. This last summer, I was able to place one of our students with a company called Zachary Corps, and they're based out of Texas, but they do work all over the country. And I was able to place one student full-time, a graduate, and I was able to place a freshman in an internship. So he worked all summer for Zachary in El Paso, and they paid him $20 an hour.
For an internship?
For an internship.
Wow.
And he was working 60 to 70 hours a week, and they put him up in a hotel suite where it's a room where you got a kitchenette and things like that.
Like a residence inn
like
or something like that.
a hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
So, that's outstanding.
Yep.
Joe, another call.
Patty from San Diego said that's really exciting. I can't wait to contact you. Rich from Texas, Amarillo, Texas, said, what does a diesel engine mechanic or diesel mechanic roughly get started at in pay? Like a range, maybe.
Yeah, it depends on location. It's demographic. Most of our students that graduate from here and go to work for a dealership start off at about $15 to $16 an hour to start, and then they go through their 90-day or 100-day probationary period, and we'll maybe get up to $17 or $18. After a few years, you're in the $20 an hour range. In the construction side of the house, seems to be paying a little bit more. Cameron Meyer, a student of mine that graduated last May that was able to get on with Zachary, they started him out at $52,000 a year.
Wow.
$1,000 a week.
Wow.
Well, that's great.
Start.
That's not an entry-level position right there, pay-wise.
Yeah.
No, and you have to have obviously a high grade of skill to get those jobs, and CAC's turning out those students.
Right, and not only do our students, like Cameron, I would place him in the top echelon of our students, and he went right into a management trainee position.
Wow.
So he's not turning wrenches every day. He's managing equipment. And when you think of that, managing equipment is ordering make sure that the parts are on hand for the piece of equipment to get repaired, or provide the preventative maintenance. A machine gets so many hours on it, it has to have an oil change, it has to have fluid changes, it has to have air filter changes. There's wear items that need to be replaced before a failure occurs. So in his position, he's scheduling and managing the equipment so it lasts as long as it's supposed to last.
Do you think there's opportunities, or just like a student like Cameron who goes into like a management program, are there opportunities then for those students to go on to a 4-year school? Do they help them kind of get a 4-year degree, maybe in a management or a business degree?
Some companies do. I know that Kiwit, the company that I worked for after I graduated from CAC back in 1996, they were very high on their employees going on and getting a 4-year degree, because what they're doing is they're building. They're bringing in the young people and building them to be future managers later down the road. Equipment superintendents that manages more than just one job; they manage a region, and it's a big responsibility. And with that comes a lot of pay.
I know we just got another phone call from Joe, and
this is quite a good call, actually, for people that are looking to go into your program. That was Keith from Mac. So they just do trucks?
Yeah.
Mac trucks. Well, they said that they have recruited via headhunters from California, CAC employees. They've hired 2 of your grads. They said they're awesome with top-notch training, and we have our eye always on CAC on this program.
That's awesome.
So that is awesome.
That's outstanding. And Garrett didn't stage that call. That just came in on...
Come on, Garrett. No,
Garrett's trying to figure out who it was, actually.
I actually don't know anybody.
That's great.
So that's
right
outstanding.
On.
And the fact that they're listening, we appreciate you listening. We're getting calls from Maine to Texas to California. It's an outstanding program. Now, we talked a little bit about the accreditation, and then there's another accreditation that's going on as well.
Right. The diesel program, the diesel and heavy equipment technology program, just received a national accreditation through the AEDF, the Associated Equipment Distributors Foundation. I believe they've been in existence. The foundation has been in existence since the mid 90s. I think 95, 96 is when they started, and it's a conglomeration of all of your major equipment manufacturers: Caterpillar, John Deere, Komatsu, Bobcat, Case. The list goes on. And representatives from each one of those companies gather for a technical training committee, and they set the standards in which we need to teach. So when they're in this committee meeting, they set aside the animosity of the different companies, and they say that we need to teach this in engines, we need to teach this in hydraulics, we need to teach this in electrical, and they build these standards. Because really, a Caterpillar excavator versus a John Deere excavator, yeah, they have a different name, but they function the same. There's way more similarities than there are differences in that equipment. So their philosophy is to have a standard throughout the industry that everybody meets, and if you can work on a John Deere excavator, then you can work on a Caterpillar excavator, as long as you know the basics and the fundamentals of the machines.
Are many schools accredited, or is this something new that's happening in the industry?
No, the accreditation process, the accreditation has been around since the mid 90s, when they came out with these standards. The level is a lot higher today. The standards are a lot higher today than they were then, and we're held accountable a lot more today than they were back in those days.
So it's no different than CAC being held accountable for accreditation across the board. It's the same type of thing as a college.
Absolutely. I believe there's about 125 to 130 community colleges across the country, and even 4-year universities have these programs. And there's only 25 accredited. We just became the 25th college.
Wow, that's exciting.
To become accredited.
That must be huge in terms of being able to sell the program to students and to future employers and say, hey guys, our students are in an accredited program. You know you're going to get good employees when you hire them.
And the best thing about it, when a student receives a degree from an accredited program, all of those major equipment manufacturers are part of it. So if I graduate from CAC, I have my certificate. I can take an assessment as well through the AED. They provide the assessment, and if you take it and pass it, you get a certificate. You can take that to any dealership that is part of the AED, and they recognize that. It's sort of similar to the ASE certification that an automotive technician would get.
Wow, that's exciting news, especially for Central Arizona College. And again, the phones are ringing, Joe.
Another good story here. Jared from Coolidge said he listens weekly from work, and he said the reason he listens weekly from work, he loves the show, and his brother got a job right out of your program with Caterpillar for $57,500 plus benefits to start. And he said one day he's going to hear about a program that he's going to go into right from where he's working. So he didn't want to tell me. I asked him. He says, I ain't going to tell you where I work. But
well, CAC has more than 75 degree and certificate programs, so there's a lot to offer. And if you've not been there, you come over to the college and talk to an advisor and see what your interests are. We're talking with Garrett Hert, the chair of the Engineering Technology Program at Central Arizona College. And how did you go about with the accreditation? Why did you decide to go that route? Obviously, the benefits are there, but I mean, how much work was it, and when did this all sort of start?
It actually started back in '95. Glenn Williamson, who is the founder of the foundation, he used to be the owner of a Vermeer dealership in Texas. And when he retired, he took it upon himself. His mission in life was to get as many community colleges with diesel programs accredited through the AED. So we didn't seek it out. They sought us out. They saw that we had a program here. They came to Central Arizona College, and they came to help us get accredited to train students to go into the field of heavy equipment.
Does it involve a lot of paperwork?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a lot of paperwork and a lot of begging. There's things that are tied to the accreditation. We had to purchase and actually build a trainer. So we bought a Bobcat, a brand new Bobcat with electronic controls, and we had to take this thing apart and make it into a trainer. We're no longer able to move dirt with it. It's a static trainer that sits in the shop, and students can get their hands on the pumps and the motors and the electrical components after we've put some type of a bug into it. So we can manipulate the machine to where it doesn't work or it doesn't work right, and the student has to figure out why it's not working right and fix it.
That must be painful a little bit to buy a brand new machine and have to tear it apart.
It was hard. It absolutely was hard. Yes. And we have to buy training aids, electrical boards, hydraulic boards. All of our curriculum has to be written to the standards. We have to fill out a lot of paperwork that says how much time do we spend on certain projects or certain items and things like that. So it's more than just getting the accreditation, it's maintaining it.
Is there a lot of site visitation from the accrediting body that comes out and takes a look at what you're doing?
Yeah, last year they came out, the initial site visit. They spent 3 days going through our curriculum, monitoring our classes, talking to teachers or professors, talking to students, talking to administration. And when they were done with the visit, they provided us a report on what we were doing good and what we needed to improve. And we fixed those things that needed to be approved. They came back at the end of August. We fixed everything they asked us to fix, and we got the accreditation.
Oh, that's outstanding.
Yeah.
It's
so they're not there to knock us down. They're really there to help us. They're there to make sure we have what we need, so our students leave prepared.
As a professor, there's got, and I know how hard that you have worked over the years and your staff, the different people in the program, but there's got to be a sense of pride to get that accreditation.
Oh, absolutely.
To sort of validate everything that you've been doing over the last number of years.
There's a lot of long hours. The weeks coming up to the site visit, I was there till 8, 9 o'clock at night. Making sure everything was, my I's were dotted and the T's were crossed, and so everything was ready when they came. And when it was all said and done, and we got the plaque, it was prideful. It just felt good all the hard work that we put into it paid off.
The classes themselves in some of these programs, are they similar to where like you have like radiology or sonography where they go in cohorts of a year or two, or the nursing program, or do people come and go, or does it depend on the program? How does that work? Like, in other words, do you get a group of 10 students and they're together for the 2 years and finish together?
Yes. That's the goal. When you start, you're done in 2 years. We have a lot of students that are coming to us in their late 30s, early 40s, non-traditional students who have families that work, so they're only able to take a part-time load, and it might take them 3 years or maybe 4 years. We have the majority of them start together, finish together, and there's always those that have to. It takes a little bit longer.
But there's different ways that people get through it. If they can't go full time, they can still go through the program.
Right.
And like you said, if they have families or non-traditional students. Joe, another call.
Lenny, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, says, I'm sending my son to Arizona to be a part of this program for sure. Does CAC have dorms or housing available? And he said, so glad I found this show.
We have residence halls available at a community college, which isn't very common in some places, but we absolutely do have residence halls where students come and stay. I think it's maybe 1,000 on campus that can stay. It's a great campus. So if you're interested, I would contact Garrett. Garrett, give out your number again.
520-494-5310.
So, and if you're interested in it, it's Garrett, Garrett, Hert, Hurt, at centralaz.edu is his email.
And he said that he found this show from one of my social media blogs.
Nice.
Yes.
There we go. So Joe pushing out the CAC through his social media.
We just graduated a student 2 years ago that ended up in somewhere outside of New Orleans, working for a John Deere dealership.
Nice. So the students that are graduating, they're going all over the country.
They are, especially the last few years. Finding work in Arizona has been tough. Construction's been down. Housing market's been down. They're still fixing a lot of roads out there. They haven't fixed them all yet, but there's still work here, but not as much as there was in the early to mid 2000 time frame. So we've been able to place them outside of Arizona. There was about 2008. There was a lot of work going on in Utah, and a lot of work going on in Texas. And right now, there's a lot of work going on in Texas, and we're having students take off to go to North Dakota, where the oil boom is.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you those questions. It seems like the Texas oil fields and the oil and everything going on in North Dakota. In fact, I think North Dakota is one of those places that's almost been immune to the recession.
Yeah.
Because you just got to be able to live in those temperatures in the wintertime.
Yep.
Aren't the Black Hills out there?
In South Dakota?
Oh, is that South Dakota?
South Dakota's the Black Hills.
I was close.
You were close. So did students ever get lured out of the country? You always see need in places like Dubai or like the oil fields in Alberta and some of those places. Does your students ever get offered out of the country jobs?
I have a student right now that's in Indonesia working for Freeport McMoran Mining Group.
Wow.
And he's making bank.
What?
He's making a lot of money.
So is that something he goes for a couple of years and then wants to come back, or does he love it there?
He loves it there. He loves the money. I mean, I'm betting he's pulling down $3,000 a week, and I'm not exaggerating.
Wow. We're in the wrong field, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, it's there's some money to be made. You just have to be willing to move and travel and go where the work's at.
But really, it's a pretty fair amount of work doing that kind of work, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I started a Facebook page, group page. CAC Diesel and Heavy Equipment Technology group page, and all of I think we have 80 alumni that have signed up on it, and they post where they're at, what they're doing, who they're working for, and we started it a month ago, 6 weeks ago.
See, if I ever joined the program, I'd go in for my first day, and everybody'd see my hands, and then I'd get beat up after class.
It'd be great to have some of those students nominated for as we go in the future for the Wall of Success program. A long flight from Indonesia, but I'm sure it'd be worthwhile. Let's talk a little bit about some of the other programs, and we'll touch on them in the engineering technology, that division. You have agricultural programs, and talk a little bit about what they are.
We have an ag science program. They teach soil science, plant science, environmental science, an animal science program, animal anatomy. I don't teach in those programs, but also I don't know a whole lot about them.
Wow. Does that go into the veterinary science programs?
No, but we are seeking that out. We're looking at doing a vet tech program.
That is great.
We're in the early stages of research and finding out what it's going to cost, where we're going to house it, who we're going to get to teach it, things of that nature.
Is the animal? Do you actually have live animals?
Yes.
And you know what? Let me ask you this, just so people out there get a better grip compared to a what do I say, a 4-year university. When somebody takes one of your programs, they just dive right into that program. They're not faced with all these crazy prerequisites like if they were to go to like ASU, right?
Right.
This is a specialized, career-orientated.
There's 2 options. You can get a certificate. You can take just the core classes of, we'll just pick diesel. Take all the diesel classes, get a certificate. If you want to get a degree, an Associate of Applied Science degree, you have to take 19 credits of general education, math, English, science, social and behavioral.
That's not that much, is it?
No, it's not. And it's attainable in 2 years.
So people can basically get a certificate, start working, and then they can advance and they can spend that extra 19 hours, which is going to just get them more money at where they work, right?
Right. And
that
they can do
great.
them online. They can take all the gen eds online.
Oh, and the advantage of that is always, and what I would say, it creates options. You know, you can dive right in.
Right.
You have, if you do that for a while, you get the general education. You could transfer. It's always about creating options for yourself.
Right. The ag program, they have a Associate of Science, Associate of Applied Science, and I think it's an AA. I can't remember. There's 3 different degrees I believe you can get in ag.
Do you know what kind of jobs come out of those?
But they're all transferable to the University of Arizona's ag department, Arizona State's ag business school.
Because you guys work closely with many other universities.
Oh, absolutely. There's more jobs in agriculture than you know.
Because that can really apply to almost anything.
Well, yes. There's genetics. You know, how they genetically enhance a plant so you can grow more plants on fewer acres of ground.
Wow.
Herbicides, insecticides, developing those things that don't harm the environment but still keep the weeds and the bugs down, and it doesn't harm the plant, and still be able to grow more food on less ground.
When you're looking at the different programs, and we haven't even touched on drafting, but you can almost hire students from each of these programs and start a business.
Oh, yeah.
Like one business of getting the expertise. And in a sense, people are doing that. They're pulling them in different businesses, but they could.
Here's a perfect example. Rupert Snyder, a student of mine that went through the John Deere program, graduated 2 years ago, decided that he didn't want to be a mechanic. He wanted to be a farmer. So he went and bought farming equipment and hired one of my diesel technicians that graduated last May to work on his equipment.
Wow. And then down the line, if he needs somebody to help him with soil and those kind of things, you have opportunities for them.
Absolutely.
It's talk about drafting. What is actually drafting?
Again, that's one of the subjects that I'm not well versed in. We have AutoCAD. We teach AutoCAD classes. We have the up-to-date software, 2013 version of AutoCAD. They have AutoCAD 1, 2, and 3. It's a certificate program, but the exciting part of drafting now is we're offering a new program. It's an associate's degree program in GIS, Global Information Systems. That's huge. GIS is anything from your handheld TomTom or whatever you call the navigation devices to the navigation devices that they put in ag equipment to go and do precision farming. Farm tractors today aren't controlled by an operator. It's controlled by satellite, controlled by GPS. All of your mapping, the counties and the states that do all of your land mapping, it's all done through GIS. GIS, the spectrum of GIS is, we could do that in 2 more segments, and it's huge. we're not offering the program until next fall. But we already have 20 students signed up for a selected topics class that we're going to offer next semester.
Wow, that's really exciting.
Yeah.
So more of that information about the program will come as we move into get closer to next year. We only have a few minutes left. I know Joe's got another call, but I wanted to ask you about you run summer camps.
Yes.
Explain what that is, because people will send their kids to athletic summer camps, but this is something a little bit different, but it's sort of along those lines.
In 2004, our enrollment was declining, and we were trying to come up with ways on how to get students to the campus to learn about our programs and capture them. And in the past, high schools would bring their students in. We'd have 500-600 kids. We'd have grandstands out in the dirt lab, and we'd do some type of a demonstration of our equipment, but we weren't capturing anybody from that large audience. So we came up with this idea to do a heavy equipment camp where the students would come to CAC, up to 15 students per camp, and they would stay in the dorms, they would eat at the cafeteria. We'd let them operate equipment from 6 in the morning till however late they wanted to. We had activities during the day when it was too hot to operate. We'd do things. They could go swimming. We'd watch a movie in one of the classrooms. But it was just a great way to bring a student here and let them actually get on the piece of equipment. And we're talking 16, 17, and 18-year-old kids.
Wow.
And the first year we had one camp. The second year we had 2 camps. Third year we had 2 camps. And now it's turned into a month-long class.
Wow.
And we were bringing kids from the camp. We had kids coming from Idaho, Northern California, New Mexico. We had one come from Texas.
So they come for the whole month?
Well, now we're focusing more on Pinal County students.
Okay.
So we're offering a 5-credit heavy equipment operator class for 1 month in the summertime.
Wow. That's awesome. It's exciting how that's evolved. Joe, you got another call. I know we have about 2 minutes left in the program.
Lindsay from Casa Grande said, I just want you to know, Tom, that I'm registered and going to CAC, and I love it. My parents signed me up from Tampa after hearing a show. I recommend CAC for anybody looking to go to a college and learn a career, because I already got scouted out, and I'm still going to school, and I started at $14 an hour in my field just because I'm going to CAC. Right on. So that's awesome.
Fantastic.
Now, Lindsay needs to be one of those people too. We've got to start. How can they endorse themselves to get on that in that Wall of Fame or whatever?
The Wall of Success. You have to be out a number of years, but what we'd really like to start with, a good way to kind of go down that path, is to get these success stories. That's what we've been gathering, and we are looking to have more students on the show, like we did with the massage therapy when we brought the students back, bring them into the studio, and we'd love to have that, Garrett, have you come back with some students that have been successful out in the field, or even if we called them up, get some video or some photos of them that Joe can run on the show and really kind of tell their story. So this is really exciting between the accreditation, the new programs, and a lot of people may not have been aware at CAC, but obviously this program is turning out a lot of successful students.
Yep. And I'd like to say we're going to do a mechanics camp this summer, just for mechanics, and it'll be a 1-week camp.
Have you picked a date yet for it?
It'll probably be the first week of June.
Okay. Well, we can bring you back later in the spring, and we can we'll have people. We can push that for you, and then maybe bring back some of the students at that time. Garrett, thank you. Fascinating. A lot of people probably not realizing that that colleges, community colleges especially, have opportunities with heavy equipment and these kind of programs. But if you're interested, we're going to give Garrett one more time your phone number if they're interested.
520-494-5310.
And one thing this proves, this radio show here, we've got regular people calling in and showing that you're just not another number when you go to CAC. This is a college that you actually learn something. You actually get real job experience, and you get real jobs. I mean, I know a lot of people who have, and I know we're going just a minute over, but that's okay. They've gone to college, and they've got master's degrees, and they end up working in places like Quick Trip. I mean, it's obvious that the word's out. Your people in your programs are getting scouted right there in your, going to your school. This is amazing. And it just goes to show you it's a great college.
We had a student come to us who already had a bachelor's degree. He couldn't make enough money with his history degree, so he came back.
Wow.
and got an associate's degree in diesel and heavy equipment repair, and making a good living.
But there's an opportunity that if he still wanted to use his history degree, he could teach as an adjunct
Absolutely.
at a university or at a college and do something else that he loves. It's all about options. So, Garrett, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. We'll look forward to bringing you back, bringing some of the students. And, Joe, we'll look forward to next week. We'll have another great program on CAC Live. For Joe Carrero, I'm Tom Camillo. Thanks for listening to CAC Live on KQCK in the Santan Valley.
Are you ready to start taking control of your future and maximize your earning potential? Central Arizona College has smaller class sizes and personalized attention to help you compete in today's tough job market. CAC now serves Santan Valley and Queen Creek.